Hi, guys. How are you tonight? I hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday night. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Sunday. Today I went to church and it was a very good message in church today. I haven't been to church in a long, long time. I would say since Easter Sunday, I have not been in church. I don't go to church often, but when my spirit tells me to go to church, I go to church, you know? So today I woke up and I felt like going to church because I have not been to church in a long time and it felt good and it just told me that I needed to go to church. Um I need to go to church more because sometimes I just need to hear a prayer, hear a message, just to reset my week. So that's pretty much what I did today. And then I did a little bit of errands just to get ready for the holidays. And that's about it that I did today. So my topic for tonight, is broken relationships or broken relationships. There's a lot of broken relationships, and it's just sad when two people can't get together and make it work, make it work for their children or make it work for their family, you know. But I feel like if two people are not getting along, then it's okay to leave the relationship. Don't stay in a relationship for children. Don't stay in a relationship for children, or don't stay in it for your family, like your outside family, because sometimes it's not good. It's not good to stay in a bad relationship. I know a lot of people during these holidays, they're staying in a relationship, but you cannot force someone to be who they don't want to be. Like, some people are not relationship people. They just want to be single, they want to be free, and it's okay. Now, if you get trapped in a situation where someone is taking advantage of you, then as an older person or an individual, you have to know, you look into yourself if you think or know that somebody is taking advantage of you, and don't let that person use or manipulate you. It's just sad when you give your all to someone, you give all your all to a relationship, and that person, they don't appreciate your relationship. They don't appreciate you. There's so many manipulators out there, and uh, it's not just the men that manipulate, the women manipulate too. So you have to be careful about who enters your life in a relationship and who you call as your partner, because people out here are playing games, and they're playing games, they're playing games. My thing is, like, if you were the one who cheated and left the relationship, why are you worried about me? Why are you concerned about me? Like, you're the one who left. You left, So thank you so much, Davy. Thank you. Now, if hi, how are you? If you leave a relationship, like you cheated, had a baby, why are you still concerned about me? You know, why are you still concerned about me? Like, I should have nothing to do with you. I should have nothing to do with you. Like, don't worry about me. Move on. Why are men like that? Why do you love somebody that you hurt? That's the problem. You guys don't know the meaning of love, and that's the problem. When There's no audio, really? Are you sure? You're lying. Don't ever get into a relationship where you guys don't align, because if you don't align from the beginning, then you will not align during the entire relationship. You can't change someone, and that's what people do. They try to change people, and it's not going to work. You will not be able to change someone. Once someone is set on their personality, they're not going to change. People don't change for others during a relationship, you know? You cannot change a bad behavior unless that person wants to change their bad behavior or a bad habit. If you're in a relationship and you're giving someone your all, you're giving your time, you're cooking for them, cleaning for them, giving them monetary gifts, paying for everything, and then that person don't appreciate you, like they say that you're not doing, pretty much not doing anything for them, then would you really stay with that person? Don't stay with them, because they don't like you. They don't want to be in a relationship. They just want to use you, you know? So people have to be very careful about the people that they get in a relationship with. And when you're older at 43, do we really care about love when we're older? No. We care about what? Money. We don't care about love. Do we really care about love when we're in our 40s? We've been there, done that, So if you're getting into a new relationship at an older age, I believe that most older people have to settle. But do you really have to settle? Because the older men, they really want younger women, and the younger men, they want older women. Now, why do younger men want older women? Because they want you to take care of them. So if I'm in my 40s or 30s, I'm not dating down. I'm sorry. I am not dating a guy in my 30s, and I'm not dating a guy in my 20s. But I've seen a lot of people do it, and to each their own. I'm not judging anyone based on their relationship. I had a conversation with a girlfriend today, and she was saying how very much younger guys try to date her, and she can't do it. But the older men, it's like you cannot expect a fairy tale love if you're an older age and trying to get with an older guy. It's not going to work, because older people have been through relationships, they have been through breakups. So the fairy tale, I've never heard of an older couple getting together and they have fairy tale love. Maybe they do, but that's an exception to the rule. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that you at an older person have that fairy tale type of love? I've never seen it, but if it's there, most people, they're just users. It's not always a mutual understanding in a broken relationships. It's not. And I think they're broken because some of them were broken from the start. People already knew that the person was not for them, and they try to curve that person into liking them, and it doesn't work. People don't like you. If they don't like you or love you, they don't like you or love you. If someone doesn't respect you from day one, they're not going to respect you from the beginning. Okay? Are you guys hearing me? They're not going to respect you. They're not going to respect you. Respect, if you enter a relationship with disrespect, it will be hard to earn that respect, going forward. So I just know a few people who, based on conversations today, it's just weird. I've just right. So I just spoke to a few friends today. So today was a relationship conversation today with my friends, and it's just tough. Sometimes, with relationships, people are warned before, and they're warned not to get into a certain type of relationships, but they ignore. Sometimes, like the older people say, you have to learn on your own because you have to learn. And some of us, we know, like when someone tell us, oh, don't get with that person, or this person is this way. You were warned, and then you ended up and you just ignored all the warnings, and everything that everyone warned you about. It's like the person is, they gave it to you, like all the trauma, all the disrespect, everything that person will give to you. And that person will not change because some people are who they are. They're just not relationship people. Some people are not meant to be married. Like, if you're a married person, you're supposed to treat your spouse a certain way. You're supposed to, respect, adore your spouse, and also have respect for your spouse. You don't just walk through a door. Like, say, relationships, you have a husband, and your husband, they tend to just leave and not tell you where they're going. To me, that is very disrespectful. If your husband leaves and tell you where they're not going, it's disrespectful, because how is that a relationship? If you cook and clean for a person and it's not reciprocated, how is that a good relationship? So it's just tough hearing these type of things. And then it's like, what can you say? You can't tell someone to leave their wives or leave their husbands. You just have to listen, and as a friend, give them the best advice that you possibly can. But it's tough when, there are kids involved, and then people, they're breaking up. It's hard to break up, but to hear when kids are involved, it's worse. You know? It's just some men are just not meant for relationships. And that's how I feel. And some women are not meant for relationships. Some people, it's ego. So ego will allow you to be in a broken relationship because it's easy to talk. If you communicate your problems, then it won't solve everything, but it may solve whatever you guys are going through. You just have to address. But if someone dislikes you, they dislike you, you know? Now, what do you guys consider a broken relationship? And I'm just saying, don't ever stay in a relationship for kids, because it doesn't work. It makes it worse, you know? And if you have a man, like, you have to have respect to your wife, and you have to talk to your wife a certain way. I know some guys consider their themselves good guys, right? You feel like if you cook for the woman, you clean for the woman, or you provide monetary, you still have to talk respectfully to your wife. Don't call your wife names. Don't call her out of her name. To me, that's just weird that a man would call a woman out of her name, you know? And in a relationship with a woman, once the respect is lost, it's very hard for the woman to get it back. She will not get, your respect will not be. Okay, so it's hard to earn respect once it's been lost. So that's what it is. But certain men are placed on a pedestal where, I think in their past relationships, the woman blew their head up like this. But when they get with a woman of morals and values, like, they'll know that no, you're not all that, you know? You are you're not all that, you just have to. I think as an older man, you have to be like a leader. You have to carry yourself a certain way. And a lot of men now, if they don't want to grow up, they just want to be, they want to, like, when they're in their 20s, go out and stuff. But when you're in a relationship, you cannot do that. You cannot just go out to the club and be a regular at a club when you're in a relationship. To me, that's that's just not the way to go. But anyways, I'm just talking about broken relationship because I had a very long conversation today with two friends actually. Um, so I can't tell personal business, but I'm just talking, in general, because most relationship problems are in general. It's universal. Not everyone have the same problems, but not all relationships are perfect. But it's sad when a child is involved and the relationship is being broken up. But I think people have a stigma on like separated homes or broken relationships, you know? Uh I'm not from a blended family. So my family is not blended like the family that I derive from. I have a mom and dad, but my kids are blended. So I get to see it on both perspective and I think that it's fine. Kids will end up okay. Like you have to love and nurture kids, but if you're currently in a broken relationship, you have to really think about, do you want your kids to um be do you want your kids to be subject to so much trauma? Because broken relationships can cause your children trauma. Like you're yelling at your spouse, you're talking to your spouse any old way, and you can't be happy with each other. You can't do things that a family should be doing with each other, and that will cause trauma. It's not healthy, you know? Dutch ovens. So it's trauma, It's just people, I don't understand why people hold on to something that's so toxic. You cannot try to please people in 2025. You have to live for yourself. Not live for yourself, but if you feel like something is not good for you, you cannot stay in it because it will ruin you. It will really ruin you, you know? And when you're ruined as a person, it will take a long time for you to get back to normal. A lot of people, they just go down a slippery slope and they don't know what happened to them, but it probably was based on a very bad relationship that they were in. Relationships that are bad will cause you long term trauma. Trust me, it causes long term trauma. So it's best to get out of it before. And sometimes when your friends give you warning, like don't ignore your friends. If you've been friends with someone for a very long time, maybe over 10 plus years, 15 plus years, and we're telling you information, you're having conversations with us and we're saying, oh, I don't think that person is good for you. Don't get mad at your friend. A lot of girls will get upset at their friends for telling them the truth instead of getting upset at the guy who's being an abuser or he's being a manipulator or a user, you know? So, I just sometimes it's hard, because we do care about our friends, but we have to like tiptoe with what we say. So it's just hard to see crazy relationships. Sometimes I ask my friends if I can discuss certain things that go on, and I have to ask permission first because some of the things that you hear, it's like you see that on TV. You would not expect like a normal person to go through that. People are really weird, and I know you guys see bad relationships blow up on like celebrity level, but you would be surprised what the average person is dealing with, what people think is normal. People are so disrespectful. They feel entitled and they just do things to people because of what. That's why I tell my friends if I ever get out of a relationship, I would never get back in one ever. Ever. I would never ever be in another relationship because it's traumatic. The things people go through is like it's too much. What's the point? So people do crazy stuff like ooh, I can't even the things that I hear from my friends or not even friends. Sometimes it's just in passing, like, sometimes I get to know people, and we just talk like I'm talking to you guys. We'll talk, and they tell me certain things. Okay. I don't think it's a man or woman thing being a problem. I think in relationships, it's the two parties, because both people will think they're right. Like if you're doing something that you think, oh, I'm giving your all, but then the other person might see that you did something wrong, but in your mind, you're doing the best that you can. But if that person, if they don't communicate that something you're doing is affecting them, then they won't know. It's communication in relationships. If you don't communicate, then the relationships will be you'll have conflict in the relationship. You have to communicate how you want someone to treat you, and you have to treat others in relationships how you want to be treated. Because if someone is talking to you reckless all the time and you tell them, oh, I don't like that, well, if you don't tell them anything, then they won't know how to speak to you. And if you also you have to communicate. But that's pretty much it. You have to communicate, and that's what it is. Communication is the key in any relationship, in friendships, relationships with parents, siblings. You just have to communicate, because it's weird. People take small things a different way. Like I've lost friendships over things that weren't communicated properly. It's just communications in marriage, friendships, anything. It's communication. If you don't let people know how you feel, or if a friend said something that offended you, you have to let them know, because sometimes people just thought they don't know that they're offending others. If you're comfortable with someone, you're going to talk comfortable. I just say in anything, you have to treat others how you want to be treated. And some people, people were raised differently and they saw different things in their household. So what may be normal for one person is not normal for the other. Some people, they grow up normally, see their parents cursing at each other, or probably some abusive relationship. And some people may think that's normal, but to others, that's not normal, because their parents never argued, or their parents um, never call each other names. I'm not saying it's right, but different households have different ways. Some kids have been through traumatic things. When I talk to certain people, like I had a friend way back then, and I'm sidetracking from relationships. It's still relationships, because it's relationship with a parent. She said she thought every black family was a single family home, because where she grew up, she didn't see a black family with a father, you know. But whereas where I grew up, like in my family dynamic, every household had a father. Well, the majority of households had fathers, not every household. But I feel like in relationships, it's based on how people are. It's how you're raised, and how your household dynamic. So I was speaking with someone, and that they're very sad about, you know it's just sad when someone during the holidays is going through a relationship, because you cannot tell people to leave their spouse. You can just listen to their issue, but you can't tell them to leave their spouse. But guys, in relationships, you just have to treat others how you would like to be treated. And listen to your partner. Respect your partner. Um, a woman, definitely, she does not change right, like she doesn't get cold right away. It takes time. I feel like women will give men chances after chance after chance, and then eventually, then it's probably no, they cannot come back. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. Men and women act totally different in relationships. So I don't know. I can't answer that question, David. I can't, you know? I can't answer that question. But what do you guys think? Do you think that with broken relationships that why does it get broken? I also feel like people set their expectations too high. Like when you meet someone, they set their expectations so high of the person, and the person, they're not going to meet that expectation. You have to be realistic with the people that you're getting in a relationship with, you know? You know who they are. If someone, you get into a relationship with someone and you see that they're not a hard worker, and you're expecting this person to want to work and be ambitious, but you saw that even before you got into the relationship. So why are you trying to change that person now? The person is not going to change. Now, and it's weird when you're getting into marriages, you need to, in 2025, you need to get a prenup. It's really ridiculous that people see the divorces and they're not getting prenups. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you have a family member that had to give their entire 401k, now I've heard that women had to give away their entire savings to a male. And is that fair? It's not fair to me. Like if we're together and we didn't have a prenup and I worked and we're getting a divorce, yes, I have the higher income. I have to give I have to give you my 401k. I have to give you half of the house and the 401k. That will be upset if I had to give you my savings, you know? And I just don't feel men should be getting alimony. I don't feel that men should be getting alimony. And to me, that's the red flag right there. Like, don't ever get with a man that's not the provider, you know? Don't get with a man that's not the provider. And it's like, you're right. A lot of people are not equally yoked because there's plenty of men and women who they get with a partner and that partner will make them better. That partner will make you guys will rise together. And then there's some people who they get in a relationship and it's like one stay down here and the other one is up there. It's not supposed to be that way. You guys are supposed to be up here together, you know? You know, if you're rising, your partner should rise too. You're supposed to elevate each other and lift each other up. So in that sense, you're not equally yoked. So if I'm with you from I'm in high school. We're in high school together. And I am, becoming everything, becoming a doctor or whatever. You're becoming very successful and you're just sitting there. Yes, maybe you need that person at home to take care of the children while you're getting a higher education. So maybe in that sense, that makes sense that the guy would get half if he's the one who decided, yes, I'll stay home while you get that higher degree to help the family. But if that was the agreement, then there shouldn't be a divorce. So if that was the agreement for the man to, or the woman, whoever, to take care of the family while you get a higher degree or, be the, what is it called, the provider for the family, then yes, it shouldn't be a divorce where you're taking half. Now, guys, you see, Mary J's husband, Mary J. Blige. She's paying 200,000 per month to her husband. You in 2025 we need to have prenups. And prenups are not bad, or they have postnups now, like you can get it after you're married. It's because some people, they do change. Once they see money in a relationship, they change. Once the relationship become sour, they become really bitter and they want to take it all. But you should definitely get a prenup or postnup, because the things I've seen, like in, for you guys to have kids and you take my 401k, it's like, that's crazy. Excuse me, you take, it's crazy. It's just crazy. If men cannot speak or deal with a woman the way he would speak or deal with a man, then we're equals. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, Poppin. Okay. How would love make you equal? Love will make us equal? Uh, hmm. I don't believe that. Well, I think love is a mutual understanding. It's pretty much an action to me. It's not like, I guess you feel love, but it is also an action. So it's based on how you treat someone. If we're in a relationship and I tell you don't do this and you continue to do that, then to me, you don't care about my feelings. Or if I say, oh, this bothers me, and you keep doing it, there's no love, because you cannot be that selfish to think, oh, because this person is love me, I'll do whatever I want. No, that's not how it works, guys. You have to treat others how you would love to be treated, you know? And a lot of people don't do that because they're on a pedestal. A lot of people, the relationships before made them feel like they were up here, like they could do whatever they want. And you can't do whatever you want. Just like you have to adapt to your children, you have to adapt to your spouse. You have to learn your spouse, to learn your partner, and then you have to cater to them. I don't think a woman should have to tell a man how to treat her. Like, you should know you're a man, especially if you're a man of an older age or a certain age, maybe, let's see, 35 and up, then you must know how to treat a woman, because what are you learning? Where have you been on earth? You know, there is no woman or man that will stay in a relationship and be disrespected for their entire life. Don't settle. To me, that's settling. Settling. There are no vacations for love. There are no vacations for love. Ugh. What do you mean? Yeah, both. Yeah, you're right. We should work on it every day. Yeah, we should work on it every day. You're right. In a relationship, you have to work on it every day. It's just like, but to me, you have to love yourself first before you get into a relationship. If you have an issue with yourself, if you're a broken person, you have to work on yourself. Because if someone tells you that something bothers them and you keep doing it, because that's probably who you are. Like, you don't know any better because you've been that way your entire life, and people have just put up with your bad behavior. So you have to work on yourself and try to, take time with yourself to become a better person before you get in a relationship. And if you are in a relationship, listen to what others say about your flaws, and then if it's they keep saying like the same thing, then try to work on your flaws, you know? We all have flaws. We're all not perfect. We all have things that we need to work on. You know, I know that I have issues that I need to work on. I'm very nice, but I can be very moody, and like to just my alone time. So that can be a problem sometimes, but we need to work on ourselves before we get in a relationship. Or if we're in a relationship, we still have to work on ourselves and try to take time for yourself. And if your partner is doing something, uh, if they're doing something nice, you have to let them know that they're doing something nice. Don't just not appreciate their kind gestures, you know? David Thomas, that is so true. If you cannot live with yourself, how can you live with someone else? You know, how can you love someone else if you cannot love your own self? And I feel like that is true. A lot of people have a lot of trauma that they need to work on. You know, you have to have a lot of patience when you're with when you're in a marriage or relationship. It's a lot of patience. Sometimes you have to just count to 10 and walk away and come back again. You guys know that sometimes you have to just count to 10, come back again, and then just say, talk about it with your partner. But some people really need self reflection because, they've been through so much that they've pretty much blocked out everything. But you have to pretty much love yourself first before you get in a relationship. And if you have a warning, what do you guys think about like the gaps, the age gaps in relationship? I feel like age gaps are really, it's when you have a gap in the age of a relationship, do you guys think it's harder? It's the same. I feel like in some ways it's harder, but it's kind of it's okay if there's an age gap. But if you have a long age gap in your relationship, or have you guys been around people with long age gaps, do you think that's a problem? You know? Because if I was with a younger person, I mean, hypothetically, if I was with a younger person and there was an age gap, I would think their maturity level or their where they are right now in life would be different. Like say I would get with a someone that's like 25 and I'm 35. That or early 20s, that would probably be a bit sketchy for me, but I can't judge. I cannot judge on it because I've never been in this situation. So I cannot say, oh, I would never do it. I haven't done it, but I would not do it because obviously I'm married and with an older person. But I don't think I would be able to deal with someone that's 10 years younger than me because of their maturity level. These are very complicated, but I know people who are in like age gap relationships. And my grandparents were in an age gap. They were 20 years apart, you know? And but I feel like it's the mentality. If people are mature, it can work. But sometimes if someone is not ready to be in a relationship or a marriage, you cannot force them no matter what their age is. So it depends on the individual or the couple, the relationship, because some people they're like very close in age and they still they still argue all the time. So, right, anger is just not good in a relationship. You've known someone 28 and 55? Ooh, that is a gap. That is very much a gap, but I feel like in relationships are hard, but for broken relationships, it's easy to work on if the two people are willing and able to work on it, you know? It's easy to work on if the two people are willing and able to work on it. And so you would be okay, that's your range. I think 28 is a bit young for a 45-year-old, me personally, but because I feel like I guess 28-year-olds are still settled, but I cannot judge the age because like they say, age ain't nothing but a number, but I feel like age is a number. It's more than a number in some relationships. I think age and relationship is based on your mindset and maturity level. Some people, they are older, like in their 50s, and they're not mature. Right. We listen and we don't judge. I will not judge someone that's in a long age gap relationship because that's their relationship. If they love each other, that's them. It doesn't mean they're broken, but if you see that that person is younger and they're not ready, then don't force them. You cannot force people to be in a relationship, you know? Or you cannot trap people because some older women might think the younger guys are naive, so they try to trap them, but some of them are not naive, you know? They will leave. Right. So I have a 21-year-old son, and I would never be able to date if I was single, a 21-year-old. You know, I don't even like when I'm married, but if I see like a 21-year-old looking my way in that way, it's like, no, don't do it. You're a kid, you're a baby. Pretty much. So, mm-mm, they're babies to me. But I am not judging. I'm just saying because I have a younger child, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like that would be my son's age, you know? But there can be, I don't think the confliction is with the age, it's with the maturity level of the person because there's people who are in their 20s who are very mature, you know? They're very mature. They definitely can be with an older person. Um, you don't have any kids, Godspeed? Lucky you. It's definitely the mindset of people when it comes to relationships. It's definitely the mindset. But on the broken relationships, it's just we don't want to see any in 2026. We want people to be better and try to just be equally yoked. You know, to hear divorce is just not good to hear a divorce, you know, with any kids. If you don't have kids, guys, it's I love my children. I love my kids. I love my kids. However, take your time. Take your time and have children. I saw something in my room. So, I would say have kids when you're ready. It's best to have with a. I was watching someone's live and they said, do not, for females, don't have kids with a man who don't want kids. So if you're with a man and the man tell you like you got pregnant and the man say, oh, I don't want the child, don't keep the child thinking the man's feeling will change. His feelings will not change. So have your kids for you and not for the kid, for a man. You know, sometimes you have to raise them by yourself and it's okay. Just move on and have your kids. Um, my thing is with kids, kids are a lot of work for me. I had one child at a younger age. He was a breeze. You know, he was so easy to take care of. It was like the best experience for me. So then later on, I had two younger kids, two boys close in age, and the hell they caused me. I'm sorry, the hell, boys are hell. I'm sorry, guys, jumping on everything, fighting. Oh my God. So yeah, I would say have kids if you're ready. I would say get settled, but it's a stigma. A lot of us, like me, I had no problems with my profession having a kid at a younger age. Financially, I didn't have a problem. So it's your mindset. I already had a mature mind from I was a younger age. That was just me, you know? And I also had a very good support system. So have your kids if you want your kids. I love my children, but having children, it's a lot of work, you know? It's, a lot of work. It's a lot of work, like telling them to go to bed and they're still up in your face. I mean, that's the reality of it, you know? That's the reality. Telling them to go to bed and they're still in your face. In my face, guys. Literally in my face at 10 o'clock. Yes, I think your life need to be risk free. In risk free as into what are you I think when you have children, you need to have a certain lifestyle. You have to live a life where your children can look up to you. You have to try to be safe, think about the future of your children, try to do things that is risk free and that your kids will have you. Like if you go out to bars and clubs, don't do it frequently. I'm not saying you can't go out and have fun with your friends, but don't do it excessively where you know that you won't be a betterment to your kids. um if you drink, don't drink so much, because if you drink, say you go out and you get drunk, you get a hangover, you come back, you can't take care of your kids, like you'll be tired. Well, me, I can't do that. I cannot go out all the time, maybe once in a while. Hang out with people who like if anything happens to you, those people will be able to help you with your children. My friends, I know they know my kids can stay with them. So you have to be mindful of yourself when you have children. Okay, verbal abuse. How old are you, Barbie? Yes, I just feel like when you're having children, you should have means of taking care of your kids. It's so hard in America or wherever. I don't know where you guys are located, but it's so hard economically, excuse me, it's hard. I have the hiccups. Economically, it's hard. Sorry. Okay. Economically, it's hard. So you should prepare yourself for children. But I mean, I was 21 when I had my first child, and I'm saying I did not have an issue because I worked, you know. I did not have an issue with taking care of him. It was very easy for me. Maybe because I'm naturally a hard worker. And but yes, I feel like you should get yourself together before you have children. Have children at a younger age. Me personally, that's just my advice. You don't have to take it. And have children at a younger age, at an age where you're able to be there for your children. When you get older, it gets harder. So I'm talking, I had a child at 21 going on 22, and then I had a child at 32. Um, 31 going on 32. So it was much harder older. It's like you're at a different mindset when you have kids at an older age. You're ready, but make sure you're ready. When you're ready to have children, you'll be a better parent. But verbal abuse with kids, I don't agree with that. You have to speak life in your kids. So, Barbie, if your mom is verbally abusing you, then that's not a good thing. You need to tell your mom that, you don't like that. Let her know, you communicate with your mom, you know. Verbal abuse is not good. You know, there are parents who talk very bad about their kids. They call them names, and because they don't know certain academics, or they take long, whatever. You cannot talk bad to your kids because of that, you know? Give them grace. Be nice to your kids. Your kids are a product of you. They're a reflection of you. So you have to speak life, because when they go out there, they reflect you, you know? Even if you're a good person and your kids go out there and do something off the wall, people are still going to look at the parents, you know? So your kids are definitely a reflection of you. So I would definitely say get yourself together before you have kids, and do not verbal abuse your kids. And that's the thing I said about on yourself, working on yourself, and then you see, working on yourself, and then um, trying to make the betterment of yourself, you know? Trying to make the betterment of yourself. Kids don't listen. They don't like sleep. I'm telling you guys. They don't like to. Yeah, most older people, black don't crack. So we look young at our older age. So yeah. I was with my mom today, and we look like sisters, and she's in her late 60s. I don't look old. She just look young. So Charlie, you just got your child, you know? I just feel like, you know, guys, have kids when you're ready to have kids, and have a kid with a partner who wants to have kids. I think a lot of people try to trap people with kids, and it's not good. You know, I know most people want that perfect family, you know, husband, wife, you know, kids, that white picket fence in America. But it's not always like that. And it's okay. It's okay. Like, no one wants to have kids saying, "Oh, I don't want my husband or partner to be here." And some people, they get pregnant in a bad situation, and they have their kids, and it's okay. Some kids, single parents, give their kids the best life, you know? Right. Kids don't want to sleep. You know, I set them to bed at 9 p.m., and it's now 10, 11, and they're not sleeping, you know? They know the rule. You know, my kids are older, but they still want to cuddle. I don't want to cuddle every night. I'll cuddle, you know. Okay. Really, Miss Hitori, he would have to give you a house. Well, my life is not like, I would say some people, they have everything planned, right? But my life was not planned with children. So, but I feel like it all worked out in the end for me anyhow, because I had my first child at 21. I thought we were going to be married, husband and wives. We were college sweethearts, but it didn't work out. So it went a different way than what I projected it to go, but it's perfect. My life is just the way it's supposed to be, you know? That's why I said, but I feel like, yes, you should have a partner and spouse, get married, do it the right way, but make sure that person wants to be your spouse. Make sure that person wants to have kids, and make sure that you guys are ready, because some people, they have kids together and then it goes totally left. I watch stuff like the things I watch on TV that people are doing to their spouses when the relationship breaks up and stuff is just really insane. I can't even understand why it's easier to divorce guys. They do some crazy things. I think it's to them, it's not easier to divorce, you know? Right. When you don't have kids, you think you can live the same lifestyle. But that's why I said when you have kids at an older age, it's better because, well, maybe in your 30s, your early 30s, because then you're pretty much you're grown and you've been there. And okay, I'll talk to you guys off without, I'm sorry, I can't show my face. Okay. Um, so what was I saying? I was saying that, yeah, when you have your kids at an older age, it's it's better because you're probably all secured with your job and everything. And you're secured with your job and you already have your career, you have your house, you have everything. So it's your mind is more mature. You've partied, done all the partying, so it's secure to have your kids. Don't cry. Yeah, people do change after kids and after marriage, but I feel like with kids and relationships and marriages, it's good to have a village, because when you're a married couple, you do need time away from your children. I know a lot of people, you want to be a super parent, super mom, but you do need time away from your children. So we try to do that. We always go away without our kids. So not always, maybe once a year, we'll do a couple's vacation and then do a family vacation. But you need to take time away from your kids. But yes, after you have children, well, I had children from I was a very young age, so I didn't really experience being free from a kid, you know, because I was 21 going on 22. Sorry. I had my child very young. So, like I said, my life is not the traditional life. If you look at, you go to school, you get married, you have kids. That's not the traditional life I had. But did my life turn out bad? No, because fortunately, I got my degree before I graduated. So my son came in April, and then I went to college. I kept going to my classes, and then the professor was like, Carla, you can take a break. I'm like, no, I have to finish because it was my last semester in school. So I'm like, I have to finish school. So the night when I went, I know story time, guys. So the night I went to my class, the very night, And I had no family because I went to a university outside of my state, but my mom came down the week when the baby was due to be born. So I went to school. It was a night class, and I went to class, and the professor, he looked at me. He's like, "Carla, you can take a break." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to take a break. I want to I want to graduate on time." So I went to class that night, and then when I went home or went to my apartment, my mom was there. Thankfully, she came to visit, and then boop, the baby was ready to come, and I had the baby. But I took 6 weeks off school, and then I still graduated on time. I had to graduate in August instead of May with most of my friends, but it was okay. It was still the 4 years. I didn't go past the 4 years. But I didn't have the traditional, not having kids. I had my child young, but it didn't deter me from accomplishing any of my goals. So a lot of people have that stigma. But still, with that being said, I would not advise the young people to have kids at a young age. No, I think you should wait, have your child after you finish school, after you get married, after you experience life. Travel the world before you decide to have children. But make sure you accomplish your goals, get your career and do everything, you know, pay attention in school, get your career, and then you'll be focused on that. Live your life. It's hard when you're trying to live your life and then having a young child. But I had to split, my son was gone every other summer. So I had time to myself to live my life, but most people don't have that. So I had the best of both worlds, but now I'm married to my younger kid's dad, and so we don't get a break from these kids. Right. I feel like we have too many relationships before we finally meet the right person. And I didn't have a lot of relationships, me personally. I didn't have a lot of relationships, but I feel like, yeah, it's good to be with, because my parents, they're like been together since they were like 18, 19. And for my mom, my dad was her only relationship, but I love seeing those stories of the high school sweethearts or kids that meet in middle school, but it doesn't happen that way for everyone. Some people, they don't get along, and I feel like that's why you have broken relationship, because some people, they'll stay in a relationship because they're like, oh, I don't want to be with that many people, or they have a problem with that. But then some women get abused because of that, because they stay in a relationship because of that mindset or mentality. So they'll stay in a long-term relationship and they get abused because of that mentality. But it's okay to leave a relationship if someone is not treating you right. I have someone who is dear to me who did that. They stayed in a very long-term relationship, and in the end it turned out very, very ugly, but I can't talk the details, but it was very bad. you know it's like very sad because my friend is such a good person and what the person did. But like I said, you can tell people, you can say, oh, this person is not, it's not it. But some women, they think they can change men, but you can't. You cannot change a bad person. You cannot change someone who does not have any morals or values, or someone who is. Men get abused too, they do. I'm not saying men. Remember, I told you as when I came on the live that I spoke to a female friend and a male friend. So it's the situation was, yeah, men get abused too. I know situations where men get abused. I've heard it. I have had male friends where they've gotten abused, you know, but to me, don't stay in a relationship because you don't want to be with another partner, or oh, which is not, it's not for anybody to be with different partners, but sometimes you don't align with somebody. You guys are just together for a certain period of time, and then that's it, you're done. Maybe you're together to have that child that was supposed to come on earth, who knows, but you guys will not align, you know, you won't align. Now you guys will not align, you know. What was that? You won't align, but yeah, I know men who got abused, but it's up to you to see your self-worth and leave that relationship. You know, I've known plenty of people, because I'm 43, I'm not young. I may look young, but I've met plenty of people in many relationships. So, different types of relationship. You know, a lot of people, I think they can change the person, and you can't. A lot of people think they can change a person, and you cannot change a person who is not morally right. People who are narcissists, a narcissist is a real problem. It's a real problem, you know? What is StreamYard? I tried to do it where I can add someone to the live, but I would need you guys' email if you would like to talk to me on the live. Thank you, Hers. You know? Right. Oh my God. Mississippi, your cousin married you? Wow. You married your cousin? Mm-mm. You leave your kids at home with dog food? You're crazy. Thank you, Missy. Thank you. I'm not crying. Guys, I'm not crying. I love my life. My life is such a good life. Even having a child at 21, so many people look up to me because I accomplished so much. I'm telling you, I walk my life on the right path, you know? But I have to ask my son if he think my son thought he thinks I'm very strict, but I don't think I'm strict compared to my mom. Yep, I do. I agree, Godspeed. I do. But oh, so your cousin husband is the only man. So, Missy, yeah, it's the same for my mom. My dad is the only guy. My dad is the only guy. And I know people like that, but in my community, like where I was, I'm Jamaican and I'm from a district, a lot of the women were um with their only guy. That's how it was. A lot of them knew the guy from they were younger, and they all got with them. So yeah, my mom had that relationship where she was with some one guy and have kids for one guy. And it happens, but that's not normal for every relationship. We see that there's different types of relationship. Yes, thank you for clarifying that, Missy. I had to reread. But yeah, I feel like every relationship is beautiful. It's just it takes the two people in the relationship, you know? And it's not every relationship is not traditional. It doesn't have to be traditional. It will not be traditional. But I've seen it where people wait longer, like they have their kids at an older age and it still doesn't work out. So it depends on the people that you're with. It depends on the people that you're with. Do you see those little munchkins? You guys, okay. My goodness.
Hey guys.
Good Lord.
Hi guys. Hi guys.
I don't know why kids get scared thinking there's something in the house, right? They get scared there's something in the house. There's nothing in the house. Oh my God, kids are really funny. But oh my goodness, you guys. You know, algebra was my favorite subject. I love algebra. I love math. But some people just don't like school. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. But, you know, when you're an immigrant, you're like, we had to be good in school. I love geometry. I was very much a math, which there's a math that I didn't like. Oh, is it calculus? Oh, God, I hated calculus. Geometry was okay in algebra, you know? But yeah, guys. What is live stream? You know, if you guys want to go live with me, I finally figured out how to schedule my lives, you know? So if you want to go live with me, I would need your email. Math ain't mathin'. It's like, do we really use math in, well, my career, I use math all the time. It's like I'm in school, guys. Oh, it's a mess. But we're not talking about that tonight. But yeah, algebra and geometry was really good, but in college you have to take accounting, statistics. Oh, my worst subject ever was economics. It was so boring. I just hated it. That was my worst subject ever. I didn't want to look at the lines and the graphs, but now with the way the economy is now, you need to really know economics. You know, I wish I paid attention in that class. But I did get a good grade, so I did pay attention, but I don't remember a thing. It was a long time ago. Um, but yeah, back to relationships, which I like to talk about. But at the end of the day, guys, make sure you love yourself first. You know, if you see that someone is not for you, not respecting you, then you don't need to be with that person. You know, people will take advantage and they will think, oh, she or he will be there forever. But don't ever make anyone think that they'll have you forever, they'll mistreat you forever. Thoughts on age? My thought, well, me personally, I don't would not date a guy that's younger than me. I don't like younger men, so I wouldn't date a younger guy. But to each your own on age gaps, you know, to each your own. Okay, you really could, right? In 1928. Yeah, my mom, 1928. Wow. Your mom is, God bless your mom. She's lived a long life, you know? Um, Verbally abusing your partner or your kids, not good. You have to speak life into people around you. They always say treat others how you'd like to be treated, how you would like to be treated, you know. Humble yourself, stay humble, because the people that you're being rude to or being nasty to, disrespected, they can leave, you know. They can leave. No one have to stay with you. No one have to stay with you. You know, we were all born, we were all, see, these kids are distracting me. Mm, they're distracting, you know, no one, who does live with kids around? No one does, you know? You definitely would do what? Oh, age gap. Mm, I don't think I would like age gap. I have an age gap. I have an age gap in relationship, but normally I never dated before my husband. I never really dated older guys. Everyone was around in my age group, but I have an age gap, but it's not a bad one. It's not 20 years. It's not 20 years. I would never do that. But the weird thing is we look the same age. You cannot tell that there's an age gap. So, okay. Are they still living? I think my grandfather was born in the 1889 as well. Well, my mom don't have a age gap relationship. So, you were born in 2005. Well, I have a son that was born in 2004. So, you could be my child. You could be my child. Oh, really? Wow. Are you in school? You could be my child. Um, so 20, my grandparents are 20 years apart, but my parents' age gap is they only have a year apart. You know, trade school is good. I think trade school is good for kids. If kids don't want to go to school, and I feel like boys, even girls, I see a lot of women like doing construction on YouTube. Trade school is really good, and I would want my boys to know how to renovate a home and fix a car because, you know, when you have a house, it's expensive to keep calling strangers to do this and do that. So if you have kids, boys, you have to teach them or let them shadow someone. You know, I have a brother who's a construction worker, and I definitely will let my boys shadow them. They're not old enough now, but your kids should know that. They should know how to fix their do plumbing, electrical stuff, you know how to paint the walls, know how to put in a floor. I would That's my dream, but I want them to also have an education too. So it's like I want them to be the best of both worlds. We'll see. We'll see how it goes because renovating is so much. But I have a brother who knows how to do it, so we just call him, but he has a business, so we still have to pay like it's a business. But if you have a home, it would be a blessing if you had kids that knew how to do construction, and because it's very expensive to renovate, you know? And a lot of people are going for the new houses, but they don't make the new houses. They're all made with cheap materials. My condolences, Missy. I do send my condolences. I don't I don't remember my grandparents' but my mom tells me all the time, but I cannot, it's not at the tip of my tongue right now. But I didn't really know my mom's parents because my grandfather passed before I was born, before any of her kids were born. And then my grandmother, I don't remember, she passed when I was younger. I just remember one instance of her. But my dad parents, my grandfather, he died in 2016. He was 93. And then my grandmother, I don't remember her age when she passed, but I knew them, but I didn't really have that grandparents relationship because they lived in Jamaica and I lived here. So I saw them maybe once a year or so, but they were nice. They were cool grandparents. I just told them they can just sleep right here and then I'll just take them to bed when they're ready to go to bed because I didn't feel like going upstairs yet. I'm on vacation. They're not on vacation, but I'm on vacation, okay? My break is on. So that's the thing about having kids. You'll be on vacation and you still have to wake up early like you're going to school, you know? Right. I think the shop should be I think the shop should be good. I removed Annie's comment because I don't like when people are I don't look like a man, so please girl, bye. Anyways, guys, like these people are really, in the comments. But yeah, guys. So in 2026, I wish for a really that everyone heal their relationships, Heal, heal your relationship. I've heard the things that I hear is just crazy. Really, Missy? You really think your mom wanted to pass away and didn't want to stay with you? Wow. It's but work on your relationships, It's like you want to help someone who's going through a relationship issue, but you can't. Sometimes you can't because they have to make that decision for themselves. They have to make that decision for themselves, you know. And relate I feel like relationship talks are really good because, I'm in a relationship and I have a lot of friends around me that's in relationships. I also have friends in the dating world. So it's just weird on both sides, but it's up to the two people. You have to work together to try to make it work. And if it's broken and it can't be fixed, then it cannot be fixed. If someone doesn't like you and doesn't respect you, then they're never going to respect you. So it's like you have to, if you don't leave, sometimes someone will not leave. So it's up to you. It's up to you. You know, it's up to you. Now it's up to you guys. So, was she sick? Missy, was she sick? Did she not like to take trips? My goodness. Okay, Cairo. Oh, Lord. Oh, was she sick? Was she? Oh, she told me she was ready. Have a good night, Godspeed. You're leaving? They told you you're ready? I mean, was she sick? Okay, guys. So, okay, Missy. Have you been in a relationship? Or you're single now? Yeah, if I mean, sometimes the older we get, the older people don't want to be in a relationship. So it happens. You know, sometimes it's best to take time to reflect on yourselves and, get to know yourself before you get in a relationship. A relationship is good for most people, but you do have, I think we're here to be in relationships because we're not here to be alone. We're here for a companion, but we have to work on ourselves first. We have to, love ourselves first before we try to take on a relationship. Oh, I'm sorry to hear, Missy. I am very sorry to hear. And hope she's resting in peace. So, yeah, work on yourself, guys. Don't try to stay in a broken relationship. And pretty much that's all I wanted to say. Make sure you love yourself first. Don't try to force a relationship. And also, you, work on yourself. And that's pretty much what I came on today to talk about because I heard stories. Sometimes reflect, be by yourself, and then also work on yourself. Get a degree or, do a hobby or something. Get to know people before you jump into a relationship because, relationships, they get really bad, they get really, really bad. So make sure that you're working on yourself before you get into a bad situation. But oh wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Missy. I do understand that. Yeah, I do. I hope they had a good life. But guys, work on yourself. Thank you guys so much for coming into my live, but I would have to go for tonight. It's late, I have to settle these children. I hope you guys all have a great night. Thank you for coming in, and I will try to schedule my lives next time and schedule the topics for the live. I know the topics may go all over sometimes, but I will definitely do that for tomorrow. I'll try to schedule it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And thank you so much for coming into my live. And have a great night. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for sure. And have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. Hope you have a Merry Christmas, guys. If I don't see you again, and I hope you guys like and subscribe so that you guys could know when I'm on so that we can chat again. Have a great night. Bye.